Chapter 5. I lived alone and felt alone, but I did have people around me who were very concerned about my deteriorating emotional and psychological state. Friends, my counsellor, members of my family, workmates all struggled to hold my head above water for me, but nobody really knew what was happening, least of all myself, or more importantly, how to stop the decline. My brother's pragmatic contributions of support took the form of inviting me on outdoor excursions, a creditable strategy. After all, in my brother's world, a long run or a swift bike ride sorts out most things. One day, in the midst of all the madness, he arranged to take me on a bike ride out to Pencarrow Heads. I was beyond being able to feel positive emotions such as enjoyment, but it gave me something to look ahead to, and at least it required the employment of faculties other than the purely mental. It could even be a relief. I, however, found it hard to focus on the ride, because as we'd been getting ready to go, I'd caught sight of myself in a mirror, and I'd seen an image of half my face drooping downwards, like you see when people have had a stroke. I kept peering at myself, and the image remained. Something was happening to my face. I could see it. It was kind of sliding off my frame. Except it wasn't. I told my brother, but he looked at me blankly because it wasn't happening, and I imagine my description of what I'd seen sounded very odd, and yet to me so real. I was later to learn that these kind of bodily delusions, often apparent in sufferers of eating disorders and people with very low body weight, I weighed around 47 kilos at this time, are symptoms of a condition known as body dysmorphia. The images are not merely beliefs, they're completely real, tangible, and frightening to the person experiencing them. On another occasion that summer, my brother took me on an overnight tramping trip into the Abel Tasman National Park. We pitched our tent in a picturesque little bay, and afterwards I went off for a walk by myself. One of the ways in which the insanity would manifest was that as soon as I was on my own, the obsessive thinking would jump out and grab me, crank right up again and swallow me in an instant. And what was even more insane is that I would create these situations, like a solitary walk on the beach, so that my head could do this. I was becoming so used to the sensation of pressure in my head that I felt uncomfortable if I didn't make time to allow my mind to try and figure everything out. In some way that I can't explain, it was as though some of the pressure was released by letting the thoughts run unconstrained inside that mental space. I was trying to work something out, and I just needed to keep thinking about it. If I wasn't thinking about it, how would I ever work out the solution? I was literally driving myself crazy, and the relentless thought cycle would repeat over and over. What's happening to me? What should I do? How could I fix it? Would I ever have another relationship again? What if I didn't? Would I ever have another job? What job should I have? What if I was really sick? What if I had cancer? What should I do? What if I could never be happy? What if this was all some sort of punishment for being bad? What if I really did have to kill myself? How should I do it? What should I write in my note? Why is my head on fire? Here we were in one of the most beautiful locations on earth. I hardly noticed, so absorbed was I in my mind's malfunctioning quest for solutions to the inner siege. But on my way back to camp, I lifted my head for long enough to see a vision in the clearing where we had pitched our tent. It was an apparition of an old Māori chief, wearing a korowai cloak and standing watch out to sea. The image felt tranquil but alert, and as I tried to grasp it with my mind, he disappeared. I didn't know what to make of this, but it seemed to fit with aspects of the alternate reality I'd been experiencing lately. His image sat alongside a mystical set of dreams I'd been having, dreams where I was struggling for breath as I was drowning in a river. There was an old man in a korowai on the riverbank in the dream, surrounded by a row of people chanting together in Māori as I swept by. trying to lift the weight of an iron roof off from over my head with their incantations. The roof was pulling me down, down, but then in other versions of the dream I swam free and was made safe. Over this time I frequently dreamed in the Māori language, fluently and natively as if it was my mother tongue. I cannot speak Māori when I'm awake.